Welcome to Fiction Flux. Today, we're diving into an exciting new fanfiction that explores a fascinating twist in the world of Jujutsu Kaisen. What if Gojo Satoru became a girl? Imagine the strongest sorcerer, known for his unmatched power and confidence, navigating life with a new identity. How would her relationships change? What challenges would she face? And how would she continue to protect her friends and fight against curses while embracing her fabulous new self? Let's not waste any more time. Grab your favorite snacks, settle in, and let's get started on this thrilling adventure. Gojo Satoru woke up one sunny morning, feeling a little off. As she stretched her arms and yawned, she noticed something strange. Her hair felt longer and softer than usual. Confused, she rubbed her eyes and looked in the mirror. Whoa, what the? Gojo exclaimed, staring at her reflection. Instead of her usual handsome face, she saw a girl with long white hair and bright blue eyes. "I'm a girl now," she shouted, her voice higher than she remembered. "This is not what I meant by wanting a change." After a moment of shock, Gojo couldn't help but laugh. "Well, this is going to be interesting." She twirled around, her new hair flowing like a curtain behind her. "I guess I can rock this look." She quickly got dressed, throwing on her usual outfit but adjusting it to fit her new form. "I still look fabulous," she said, striking a pose. Time to show the world the strongest sorceress. As she walked into Jujutsu High, her friends were already gathered in the courtyard. Yuji Itadori was the first to notice her. "Gojo-sensei, is that you?" he asked, eyes wide. "Of course it's me, I'm just upgraded," Gojo replied with a wink. "What do you think? Pretty cute, right?" Megumi Fushiguro raised an eyebrow. "You look different, but you're still you, I guess." "Different? I'm fabulous," Gojo said, flipping her hair. "Now, who wants to train with the strongest sorceress?" As they began their training, Gojo decided to show off her skills. "Watch this," she said, activating her limitless technique. A barrier appeared, shimmering in the sunlight. "Still got it," she laughed, feeling proud. But then, she noticed something odd. "Hey, why are you all staring at me like that?" she asked, noticing the way Yuji and Megumi were looking at her. It's just, you look really different," Yuji said, scratching his head. "And kind of cute." "Cute," Gojo exclaimed, her cheeks turning a light shade of pink. "I'm not cute. I'm strong. And fabulous." Sure, Megumi said, trying to hide a smile. "But you have to admit, it's a little funny." "Funny? I'm a girl now, and I'm still the strongest," Gojo said, crossing her arms defiantly. "I'll show you all." Later that day, they went to a cafe for a break. As they sat down, the barista came over, looking a bit flustered. What can I get for you, miss?" he asked, blushing slightly. Gojo raised an eyebrow, feeling a strange thrill. "Just a coffee, please," she said, trying to sound cool. But inside, she was giggling. "This is so weird." As they waited for their drinks, Yuji leaned in. "So, Gojo-sensei, do you think you'll keep this look forever?" "Maybe. I could start a new trend," Gojo said, grinning. "Imagine it, the strongest sorceress with fabulous hair. Everyone will want to be like me." Megumi rolled his eyes. "Or they'll just think you're a weirdo." "Hey, I'm a fabulous weirdo," Gojo shot back, laughing. "And don't forget it." Just then, a group of students walked by, whispering and giggling. One of them said, "Wow, Gojo-sensei looks really cute today." Gojo's eyes widened. "Did they just call me cute again?" she said, trying to hide her embarrassment. "I'm going to have to get used to this." As the day went on, Gojo embraced her new life. She trained harder, laughed louder, and even started to enjoy the attention. Being a girl isn't so bad after all, she thought, feeling a mix of excitement and mischief. The next day, Gojo decided to take her new identity to the next level. She strutted into Jujutsu High wearing a bright pink outfit that she had never dared to wear before. "What do you think?" she asked, spinning around for her friends. "Am I rocking this or what?" Yuji's jaw dropped. "You look, very colorful, Gojo-sensei." "Colorful? I prefer fabulous," she declared, striking a pose. "Now, let's see if I can still kick some curse butt in style." As they headed out for training, Gojo felt a surge of confidence. She was ready to show everyone that being a girl didn't mean she was any less powerful. During the training session, she faced off against a particularly tricky curse. It was a giant, slimy creature that oozed and slithered around, taunting her. "Is that all you've got?" Gojo shouted, her hands on her hips. "I've faced tougher things in my makeup bag." The curse paused, clearly confused. "What? Makeup? I'm a terrifying monster." Yeah, whatever," Gojo said, rolling her eyes. "Let's get this over with." With a flick of her wrist, she activated her limitless technique, creating a barrier that trapped the curse. "You're not so scary now, are you?" As she defeated the curse with a swift move, her friends cheered. "That was amazing, Gojo-sensei," Yuji shouted, his eyes sparkling with admiration. "Of course it was. I'm still the strongest, just with better hair." She laughed, flipping her hair dramatically. After training, they all decided to grab lunch together. As they sat at a table, Gojo noticed a group of boys from another class staring at her. "Hey, look, it's Gojo-sensei," one of them said, nudging his friend. "She's so cool." Gojo couldn't help but smirk. "See, they know I'm fabulous," she whispered to Megumi, who was trying to eat his lunch without laughing. "Yeah, but it's a little weird, isn't it?" Megumi replied, shaking his head. "You're not used to this kind of attention." "Maybe not, but I'm loving it," Gojo said, her eyes sparkling with mischief. "I could get used to being the center of attention." Just then, a girl from their class approached their table. Gojo-sensei, can I ask you something?" she said, looking a bit shy. "Of course, ask away," Gojo replied, leaning forward with a grin. "Do you have any tips for, looking cute?" the girl asked, blushing. Gojo's eyes lit up. "Absolutely. First, always wear what makes you feel good. And don't forget to smile. Confidence is key." The girl nodded eagerly, taking notes. "Thanks, Gojo-sensei, you're the best." As the girl walked away, Yuji burst out laughing. "You're giving beauty tips now. This is too funny. Hey, I'm a fabulous sorceress. I can do it all," Gojo said, puffing out her chest proudly. "Fighting curses and giving fashion advice. I'm a multitasker." The rest of the day flew by in a blur of laughter and training. Gojo felt more alive than ever, embracing her new identity with every step. But as the sun began to set, she found herself sitting on the roof of Jujutsu High, looking out at the city. "Is this really me?" she wondered aloud, a smile creeping onto her face. "I never thought I'd enjoy being a girl this much." Just then, her phone buzzed. It was a message from Shoko, her friend and fellow sorcerer. "Hey, Gojo, want to go shopping later? I need a new outfit for a party." Gojo's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Shopping? Count me in," she replied, her heart racing. "This is going to be so much fun." As she hopped off the roof, ready to embrace whatever came next, she couldn't help but think, being a girl is going to be one wild adventure. And with that, she dashed off, ready to take on the world, one fabulous outfit at a time. The next day, Gojo met Shoko at the mall, her excitement bubbling over. "I can't believe we're going shopping. This is going to be epic," she exclaimed, practically bouncing on her feet. Shoko raised an eyebrow, a smirk on her face. "You're really getting into this, huh? I've never seen you this excited about clothes before." "Of course, I'm a fabulous sorceress now," Gojo declared, striking a pose in the middle of the mall. "Let's find the most outrageous outfits." As they entered the first store, Gojo's eyes widened at the colorful displays. "Look at all these clothes. It's like a candy store for fashion," she squealed, grabbing a bright yellow dress with frills. "This is so cute. What do you think?" Shoko chuckled. "It's definitely something, but maybe we should find something that doesn't look like a walking lemon." "Hey, I'll rock this lemon dress," Gojo shot back, laughing. "But fine, let's find something that screams, strongest sorceress, instead." They spent hours trying on outfits, with Gojo emerging from the fitting room in everything from sparkly skirts to oversized hoodies. "How do I look?" she asked, twirling in a glittery top. "Like you're ready for a rave," Shoko replied, trying to suppress her laughter. "But I think you should tone it down a bit." Fine, but I'm still getting this," Gojo said, holding up a pair of neon pink combat boots. "These are perfect for kicking curses and looking fabulous." After a successful shopping spree, they headed to a cafe for a break. As they sipped their drinks, Gojo noticed a group of girls at a nearby table whispering and giggling. What are they talking about? She wondered aloud, leaning in to listen. I think they're talking about you, Shoko said, smirking. You've become quite the topic of conversation since your transformation. Really? What are they saying? Gojo asked, her curiosity piqued. One of the girls glanced over and blushed, clearly caught. They think you're really cool and pretty, she said shyly. Gojo's eyes sparkled with mischief. Well, of course, I'm the strongest sorceress and fabulous, she declared, causing the girls to giggle even more. Maybe you should give them some tips too, Shoko suggested, a teasing grin on her face. Great idea, I'll host a How to Be Fabulous seminar, Gojo said, laughing. First lesson, always wear what makes you feel powerful. After their break, they decided to head back to Jujutsu High. As they walked, Gojo felt a sense of joy bubbling inside her. You know, I never thought I'd enjoy this so much, she admitted to Shoko. Being a girl is kind of fun. Glad to hear it. Just remember, you can still kick butt while looking cute, Shoko replied, nudging her playfully. When they arrived at Jujutsu High, Gojo was met with curious stares from her fellow sorcerers. What's up, everyone? Just got back from a shopping spree, she announced, holding up her new outfits like trophies. Looks like you had fun, Yuji said, grinning. You're really embracing this whole girl thing, huh? Absolutely, and I'm still the strongest, Gojo replied, puffing out her chest. Now, who wants to train with the fabulous sorceress? As they headed to the training grounds, Gojo felt a surge of energy. She was ready to show everyone that being a girl didn't change her strength. During the training session, she faced off against a powerful curse, her new outfits flowing as she moved. Come on, is that all you've got? She taunted, dodging the curse's attacks with grace. I've faced tougher things in my closet. With a swift move, she activated her limitless technique, trapping the curse in a barrier. You're not so scary now, are you? She laughed, before finishing it off with a powerful blast of energy. As her friends cheered, Gojo felt a rush of pride. See, still the strongest, just with better hair and a killer wardrobe, she shouted, striking a pose. After the training session, they all gathered to celebrate. You really are amazing, Gojo-sensei, Yuji said, beaming. You've shown us that being strong and fabulous can go hand in hand. Exactly, and remember, confidence is key, Gojo replied, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Now, who's ready for a fashion show? The group burst into laughter, and Gojo couldn't help but feel a warm glow of happiness. I'm serious, we should totally have a fashion show right here, she insisted, her enthusiasm infectious. Are you really going to strut your stuff in front of everyone? Megumi asked, raising an eyebrow. What if you trip? Please, I'm a sorceress. I can dodge curses and still look fabulous while doing it, Gojo replied, waving her hand dismissively. Besides, if I trip, I'll just turn it into a dance move. Alright, let's do it, Yuji said, clapping his hands together. This is going to be hilarious. They quickly set up a makeshift runway in the training area, using mats and some old training equipment. Gojo took the lead, strutting down the runway with exaggerated confidence. She twirled, posed, and even did a little shimmy, making everyone laugh. Look at me, the fabulous sorceress is in the house, she declared, striking a pose at the end of the runway. What do you think? Should I add model to my resume? Definitely, you'd be the first sorceress to walk the runway. Shoko laughed, snapping pictures on her phone. Next up was Yuji, who decided to join in on the fun. He put on a ridiculous oversized jacket and a pair of sunglasses. Watch out, world, here comes the next big fashion icon, he shouted, pretending to strut like a model. He tripped over his own feet and fell, but quickly rolled over and struck a pose on the ground. Nailed it. Everyone burst into laughter, and even Megumi couldn't help but chuckle at his antics. You're a natural, Yuji, he said, shaking his head. Then it was Megumi's turn. He walked down the runway with a serious expression, wearing a hoodie and sweatpants. I'm here to show you that comfort is key, he said flatly, trying to keep a straight face. Fashion doesn't have to be flashy. Boring, Gojo shouted playfully. You need to add some flair. Where's the pizzazz? Pizzazz isn't my style, Megumi replied, rolling his eyes, but he couldn't hide the small smile creeping onto his face. Finally, it was Shoko's turn. She stepped onto the runway wearing a stylish outfit that perfectly matched her personality. And now, for the ultimate sorceress look, she announced, striking a pose. Because being fabulous is all about confidence. Yas, queen. Gojo cheered, clapping her hands. You look amazing. After everyone had their turn, they all gathered together, laughing and joking about their silly fashion show. This was the best idea ever, Gojo said, her heart full of joy. Who knew being a girl could be this much fun? As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the training grounds, Gojo felt a sense of belonging. She had always been the strongest sorcerer, but now she was also embracing a side of herself that she had never explored before. Hey, guys, she said, her voice softening. Thanks for being so supportive. I know this is all new for me, but I really appreciate you all. Of course. We're your friends, and we'll support you no matter what, Yuji said, giving her a thumbs up. Plus, it's fun to see you like this. Yeah, you're still the same Gojo, just with a little more sparkle, Megumi added, smirking. Sparkle. I prefer fabulous. Gojo laughed, her eyes shining. But I'll take it. As they wrapped up their day, Gojo felt grateful for her friends and the new experiences she was having. I can't wait to see what tomorrow brings, she said, her heart racing with excitement. More training, more fashion, and maybe even a little more chaos. Count me in, Yuji said, grinning. As long as there are no more tripping incidents. Hey, I can't promise that. Gojo replied, laughing. But I can promise it'll be fun. With that, they all headed home, ready to face whatever challenges awaited them. Gojo couldn't help but think that this new chapter in her life was just beginning, and she was ready to embrace it all, one fabulous step at a time. The next morning, Gojo woke up feeling energized and ready to take on the world. She jumped out of bed, her new outfits hanging in her closet like trophies of her recent shopping spree. Today is going to be amazing, she declared, pulling on a stylish yet comfortable outfit that made her feel powerful. As she made her way to Jujutsu High, she couldn't help but notice how the world felt different. The sun seemed brighter, the air felt fresher, and even the birds were chirping a little more cheerfully. Maybe it's because I'm fabulous now, she thought, giggling to herself. When she arrived at school, she was greeted by her friends, who were already gathered in the courtyard. Good morning, fabulous sorceress, Yuji called out, waving enthusiastically. Good morning, my loyal subjects, Gojo replied, striking a dramatic pose. What adventures await us today? More training, of course, Megumi said, rolling his eyes but unable to hide a smile. We have to keep up our skills if we want to take down curses. Training, PFF'd, I can do that in style, Gojo said, flipping her hair. Let's make it a fashion show training session. Only you would think of that, Shoko said, shaking her head with a grin. But I'm in, let's make it fun. As they headed to the training grounds, Gojo decided to spice things up. Alright, everyone, we're going to do a training exercise, but with a twist. Every time you land a hit on a curse, you have to strike a pose. Seriously? Megumi asked, raising an eyebrow. That sounds ridiculous. Exactly. And that's why it'll be fun, Gojo replied, her eyes sparkling with mischief. Let's show those curses that we can be strong and fabulous at the same time. They set up a few training dummies to represent curses, and Gojo led the charge. Alright, let's go. Show me your best moves, she shouted, charging at the first dummy. With a swift kick, she knocked it over and immediately struck a pose, one hand on her hip and the other raised dramatically. Fabulous, she declared, laughing at herself. Yuji followed suit, landing a punch on another dummy and then spinning around to strike a goofy pose. How's this? Am I fabulous yet? He asked, grinning. Not quite. You need more flair, Gojo shouted, clapping her hands. Try again. As they continued their training, the atmosphere was filled with laughter and playful banter. Megumi, despite his initial reluctance, found himself getting into the spirit of things. After landing a solid hit, he struck a pose that was surprisingly dramatic, causing everyone to burst into laughter. Look at you, who knew you had it in you? Gojo teased, giving him a thumbs up. Don't get used to it, Megumi replied, trying to sound serious but failing to hide his smile. After a few rounds of training, they decided to take a break. As they sat on the grass, catching their breath, Gojo couldn't help but feel grateful for her friends. You guys are the best. I never thought training could be this much fun, she said, her heart full. Thanks for making it entertaining, Gojo-sensei, Yuji said, grinning. You really know how to keep things lively. Of course. Life is too short to be serious all the time, Gojo replied, leaning back on her hands. We have to enjoy every moment. Just then, a commotion caught their attention. A group of first-year students was gathered nearby, whispering and pointing at Gojo. One of them, a shy girl with glasses, approached hesitantly. Gojo-sensei, can we ask you something? Absolutely. Ask away, Gojo said, sitting up straight and giving her full attention. We were wondering, how do you stay so confident? The girl asked, her voice barely above a whisper. You always seem so sure of yourself. Gojo smiled warmly. Confidence comes from within. You have to believe in yourself and embrace who you are. And remember, it's okay to be a little silly sometimes. The girl nodded, her eyes shining with admiration. Thank you, that really helps. As the first years walked away, Gojo felt a sense of pride. See, being fabulous isn't just about the clothes, it's about how you carry yourself. She said, looking at her friends. And I'm glad I can inspire others. Definitely, you're like a role model now, Shoko teased, nudging her playfully. Role model, more like a fabulous sorceress on a mission. Gojo declared, striking another pose. And my mission is to spread confidence and fabulousness to everyone. With renewed energy, Gojo stood up and clapped her hands. All right, team, let's finish our training strong. We're going to take on the next curse with style. They all jumped to their feet, ready to tackle the next challenge. Gojo led the way, her confidence radiating as they approached the training dummies once more. Remember, every hit counts. And don't forget to pose. As they began their next round of training, Gojo felt a surge of excitement. She charged at the first dummy, delivering a powerful kick and then striking a pose that would make any model proud. Fabulous, she shouted, laughing at her own antics. Yuji followed closely behind, landing a punch and then spinning around to strike a pose that was a mix of heroic and ridiculous. How about this? Am I fabulous yet? He asked, trying to keep a straight face. Almost. You need to add a little more drama. Gojo replied, giggling. Try again. Megumi, now fully embracing the silliness, landed a solid hit and struck a pose that was surprisingly elegant. How's this? He asked, a hint of pride in his voice. Now you're talking. That's the spirit. Gojo cheered, clapping her hands. You're all getting the hang of it. As they continued their training, the atmosphere was filled with laughter and camaraderie. Gojo felt a sense of belonging that she hadn't fully appreciated before. She was not just the strongest sorcerer, she was also a friend, a mentor, and now, a fabulous role model. After a few more rounds, they decided to take a break again. They flopped down on the grass, panting and laughing. I can't believe we actually made training fun, Megumi said, shaking his head in disbelief. Of course, who says training has to be boring? Gojo replied, her eyes sparkling. We're sorcerers, and we can do anything. Just then, a loud crash echoed from the nearby training area. They all turned to see a group of second-year students struggling with a particularly stubborn curse. It was a large, shadowy creature that seemed to be causing chaos, knocking over training equipment and scaring the younger students. Looks like they could use some help, Yuji said, jumping to his feet. Let's go. Right behind you, Gojo said, her heart racing with excitement. Time to show this curse who's boss. As they approached the scene, Gojo felt a rush of adrenaline. All right, everyone, let's do this together. Remember, we're strong and fabulous, she shouted, rallying her friends. The second-year students looked relieved to see them. Thank goodness you're here, Gojo-sensei. We can't seem to take it down. One of them exclaimed. Don't worry, we've got this, Gojo replied confidently. Let's work together. With that, they all charged at the curse. Gojo activated her limitless technique, creating a barrier that trapped the creature momentarily. Now's our chance. Attack, she shouted. Yuji and Megumi launched their attacks, landing powerful blows while Gojo kept the curse contained. "Strike a pose after every hit," she called out, laughing as they fought. As they worked together, the curse began to weaken. Gojo could feel the energy shifting, and she knew they were close to victory. "Let's finish this," she shouted, her voice filled with determination. With one final coordinated attack, they unleashed their combined power, and the curse disintegrated into a cloud of dark smoke. The training area fell silent for a moment before everyone erupted into cheers. "We did it," Yuji shouted, pumping his fist in the air. "That was amazing. Great teamwork, everyone," Gojo said, beaming with pride. "And we did it fabulously." The second-year students rushed over, their faces filled with gratitude. "Thank you so much, Gojo-sensei. We couldn't have done it without you," one of them said, eyes wide with admiration. "Anytime. Just remember, confidence and teamwork are key," Gojo replied, feeling a warm glow in her heart. "And don't forget to have fun while you're at it." As the sun began to set, casting a golden hue over the training grounds, Gojo felt a sense of fulfillment. She had not only embraced her new identity but had also inspired others to find their own confidence. "Today was incredible," she said, looking at her friends. "I can't wait to see what tomorrow brings. More training, more fashion, more chaos," Yuji suggested, grinning. "Absolutely, and maybe a little more fabulousness," Gojo replied, her eyes sparkling. The next day, Gojo woke up with a sense of excitement bubbling inside her. She had a feeling that today would be different, maybe even more thrilling than the last. After getting dressed in a stylish yet practical outfit, she headed to Jujutsu High, ready to take on whatever challenges awaited her. As she arrived, she found her friends gathered in the courtyard, looking serious. "What's going on?" Gojo asked, tilting her head. "Sensei just informed us that there's been a surge of curses in the area," Megumi said, his expression serious. "We might have to go on a mission soon." "Curses? Bring it on," Gojo said, her competitive spirit ignited. "I'm ready to show them who's the strongest sorceress." Just then, Shoko approached, her expression a mix of concern and determination. "We need to be careful. These curses are stronger than usual, and we don't know what we're up against." "Stronger? PFF'd. That just means we'll have to be even more fabulous," Gojo replied, her confidence unwavering. "Let's show them what we're made of." As they prepared for the mission, Gojo felt a rush of adrenaline. She gathered her friends and laid out a plan. "All right, here's the deal. We'll split into 2 teams. Yuji and I will take the lead, while Megumi and Shoko cover our backs. If we encounter any curses, we'll take them down together." "Sounds good to me," Yuji said, his excitement matching Gojo's. "Let's do this." With their plan set, they headed out to the location where the curses had been reported. The atmosphere grew tense as they approached an abandoned building, the air thick with an ominous energy. Gojo could feel her heart racing. "This is it. Time to show these curses what we're made of," she declared, her voice echoing in the stillness. As they entered the building, the darkness enveloped them. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from the upper floor, followed by a guttural growl. "Looks like we've got company," Gojo shouted, her eyes gleaming with excitement. "Stay alert," Megumi warned, his expression serious. "We don't know how many there are." Just then, a massive curse burst through the wall, its grotesque form towering over them. It had multiple eyes and jagged teeth, and it let out a terrifying roar. "Foolish sorcerers, you dare enter my domain," it bellowed. "Yeah, we do, and we're here to kick your butt," Gojo shouted back, her confidence unwavering. "Let's go, team." With that, she activated her limitless technique, creating a barrier that surrounded the curse. "I've got it contained. Now, let's attack," she called out. Yuji charged forward, launching a powerful punch at the curse. "Eat this," he shouted, landing a solid hit. The curse staggered back, but it quickly recovered and swiped at Yuji with its massive claws. "Watch out," Megumi yelled, summoning his Shikigami to distract the curse. "Nui, go." The Shikigami, a large wolf-like creature, lunged at the curse, biting at its legs. Gojo took advantage of the distraction and leapt into action. "Now's my chance," she shouted, delivering a swift kick to the curse's side. "Nice one, Gojo-sensei." Yuji cheered, but the curse roared in anger, swinging its claws wildly. "Stay focused," Shoko called out, using her cursed energy to create a barrier of her own to protect them. We need to work together. Gojo nodded, feeling the energy of her friends fueling her determination. All right, let's finish this. She shouted, channeling her energy into a powerful attack. Limitless, hollow technique. A wave of energy surged from her hands, striking the curse with incredible force. The creature howled in pain, staggering back as the combined attacks from Yuji and Megumi landed hard. Now, everyone, together, Gojo shouted, rallying her friends. They all focused their energy, preparing for one final strike. Diverging fist, Yuji shouted, launching himself at the curse with a powerful punch. Shikigami, wolf pack, Megumi commanded, summoning multiple wolves to attack the curse from all sides. Cursed energy blast, Shoko added, unleashing a wave of energy that hit the curse head-on. With their combined strength, the curse let out a final, anguished roar before disintegrating into a cloud of dark smoke. The building shook, and the air cleared as the curse was defeated. Did we do it? Yuji asked, panting and looking around. Yeah, we did, Gojo exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with excitement. That was amazing. Megumi nodded, a small smile creeping onto his face. Not bad for a day's work. As they caught their breath, Gojo felt a sense of pride wash over her. See, we're not just strong, we're fabulous together, she said, grinning at her friends. Fabulous and powerful, Shoko added, rolling her eyes playfully. Just don't let it get to your head, Gojo-sensei, Shoko teased, crossing her arms with a smirk. We still have to keep our skills sharp. Of course, but I think we've earned a little celebration after that epic battle. Gojo replied, her excitement bubbling over. How about we grab some food? I'm starving. Food sounds great, Yuji said, his eyes lighting up at the thought. I could eat a mountain of sushi right now. Let's head to that new cafe that just opened up. I heard they have amazing desserts. Gojo suggested, leading the way out of the building. As they walked, the atmosphere was filled with laughter and chatter about their recent victory. Gojo felt a sense of camaraderie that made her heart swell. She had always been the strongest, but now she was also part of a team that supported and uplifted each other. When they arrived at the cafe, the aroma of freshly baked goods wafted through the air, making Gojo's stomach growl. This place smells incredible, she exclaimed, her eyes wide with anticipation. They found a table and quickly ordered a variety of dishes, from sushi to pastries. As they waited for their food, Gojo couldn't help but reflect on how much had changed since her transformation. You know, I never thought I'd enjoy being a girl this much, she said, looking at her friends. It's not just about the clothes or the attention, it's about feeling confident and strong in my own skin. Honestly, you've inspired all of us, Megumi admitted, leaning back in his chair. You've shown us that it's okay to embrace who we are, no matter how silly it might seem. Exactly. And it's fun to let loose sometimes, Yuji added, grinning. I mean, who knew training could be so entertaining? Just then, their food arrived, and they dug in with enthusiasm. Gojo savored every bite, feeling grateful for the delicious meal and the company of her friends. This is the best. We should do this more often, she said, her mouth full of sushi. As they enjoyed their meal, a group of students from another class walked in, and Gojo noticed them whispering and pointing in her direction. She felt a mix of pride and shyness. Looks like we've got some fans, she said, nudging Megumi playfully. Just don't let it go to your head, he replied, smirking. After finishing their meal, Gojo suggested they take a group photo to commemorate their victory. Let's capture this moment. We're a fabulous team, she said, pulling out her phone. They all gathered together, striking silly poses and laughing as Gojo snapped pictures. Say, fabulous, she called out, and they all shouted it in unison, their voices echoing in the cafe. As they reviewed the photos, Gojo felt a sense of warmth in her heart. These are amazing. I'm going to cherish these memories, she said, smiling at her friends. Suddenly, her phone buzzed with a message. It was from Shoko. Hey, I just got a report about another curse sighting nearby. We might need to head back soon. Gojo's expression shifted to one of determination. All right, team, looks like our day isn't over yet. Are you ready for round 2? She asked, her eyes gleaming with excitement. Always, Yuji replied, pumping his fist in the air. Let's do this, Megumi said, his expression serious but a hint of a smile on his lips. As they made their way back to Jujutsu High, Gojo felt a surge of adrenaline. This time, let's show them what we're really made of. We're not just strong, we're fabulous, she declared, her voice filled with enthusiasm. When they arrived at the location of the curse sighting, they found a group of students already engaged in battle with a swarm of smaller curses. The air crackled with energy as the curses hissed and lunged at the students. Looks like they could use our help, Gojo shouted, her heart racing. Let's jump in. With a fierce battle cry, Gojo activated her limitless technique, creating a barrier to protect the students. Stay behind me, she commanded, her voice steady and confident. Yuji charged forward, throwing punches at the curses with all his might. Take that, and that, he shouted, his energy infectious. Megumi summoned his Shikigami, sending them to distract the curses while he focused on delivering precise strikes. We need to take them out quickly, he called out, his eyes sharp and focused. Shoko used her cursed energy to create blasts that knocked several curses back, clearing a path for her friends. Keep pushing forward, she encouraged, her voice steady. Gojo felt the energy of her friends fueling her determination. All right, let's finish this, she shouted, channeling her energy into a powerful attack. Limitless, hollow technique. A wave of energy surged from her hands, striking the curses with incredible force. The smaller curses howled in pain, disintegrating into clouds of dark smoke. Now, everyone, together, Gojo shouted, rallying her friends for one final push. Let's show these curses what we're made of. With renewed determination, they all focused their energy, preparing for a coordinated attack. Gojo could feel the adrenaline coursing through her veins as she glanced at her friends, their expressions filled with resolve. Yuji, you take the lead. Megumi, support him with your Shikigami. Shoko, cover us with your blasts, Gojo commanded, her voice steady and authoritative. Got it, Yuji replied, his eyes gleaming with excitement. He charged forward, launching himself at the nearest curse with a powerful punch. Diverging fist, he shouted, landing a solid hit that sent the curse flying. Now, Nui, go for the legs, Megumi commanded, summoning his wolf-like Shikigami to attack the curse from below. The wolf lunged, biting at the curse's legs and causing it to stumble. Cursed energy blast, Shoko shouted, unleashing a wave of energy that struck the curse head-on, causing it to stagger back. Now, Gojo, Megumi called out, and she didn't hesitate. Channeling her energy, she unleashed her limitless technique once more. Limitless, hollow technique. A powerful wave of energy surged from her hands, striking the curse with incredible force. The combined attacks overwhelmed the remaining curses, and with one final roar, they disintegrated into clouds of dark smoke. The air cleared, and the battlefield fell silent. Did we do it? Yuji asked, panting and looking around. Yeah, we did, Gojo exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with excitement. That was incredible. The students they had saved rushed over, their faces filled with gratitude. Thank you so much, Gojo-sensei. We couldn't have done it without you, one of them exclaimed, eyes wide with admiration. Anytime. Just remember, confidence and teamwork are key, Gojo replied, feeling a warm glow in her heart. And don't forget to have fun while you're at it. As they caught their breath, Gojo felt a sense of pride wash over her. She had not only embraced her new identity but had also inspired others to find their own confidence. You guys were amazing, she said, looking at her friends. We really are a fabulous team. Definitely, I think we make a pretty good fighting squad, Yuji said, grinning. Let's keep this momentum going, Megumi added, a hint of a smile on his face. We can't let our guard down. Agreed, but first, let's celebrate our victory, Gojo suggested, her excitement bubbling over. How about we grab some ice cream? I know a great place nearby. Sounds perfect, Yuji said, his eyes lighting up at the thought of ice cream. As they made their way to the ice cream shop, Gojo felt a sense of fulfillment. She had faced challenges, fought curses, and embraced her identity, all while having fun with her friends. It was a new chapter in her life, and she was ready to embrace every moment. When they arrived at the ice cream shop, the sweet aroma of freshly made waffle cones filled the air. Gojo's eyes widened as she scanned the menu. So many flavors, I can't decide, she exclaimed. Just get them all, Yuji suggested, his enthusiasm infectious. Now that's a plan I can get behind. Gojo laughed, ordering a scoop of every flavor that caught her eye. As they sat outside, enjoying their ice cream, Gojo couldn't help but feel grateful for her friends and the experiences they shared. You know, I never thought I'd enjoy being a girl this much, she said, looking at her friends. It's not just about the clothes or the attention, it's about feeling confident and strong in my own skin. Honestly, you've inspired all of us, Megumi admitted, leaning back in his chair. You've shown us that it's okay to embrace who we are, no matter how silly it might seem. Exactly, and it's fun to let loose sometimes, Yuji added, grinning. I mean, who knew training could be so entertaining? As they laughed and shared stories, Gojo felt a sense of belonging that she hadn't fully appreciated before. She was not just the strongest sorcerer, she was also a friend, a mentor, and now, a fabulous role model. Here's to more adventures, more battles, and more fabulousness, Gojo declared, raising her ice cream cone in a toast. Cheers, her friends echoed, their voices filled with excitement. With their spirits high and their hearts full, they knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, strong, confident, and fabulous. As they finished their ice cream, Gojo felt a sense of contentment wash over her. The sun was beginning to set, casting a warm golden glow over the town, and she couldn't help but smile at the thought of all the memories they were creating together. All right, team, what's next on our agenda? Gojo asked, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. More training, or maybe a fashion show. Can we do both? Yuji suggested, his eyes wide with excitement. I mean, who says we can't train in style? Now that's the spirit. Gojo laughed. Let's head back to Jujutsu High and see what we can come up with. As they made their way back, the atmosphere was filled with laughter and playful banter. Gojo felt a sense of camaraderie that made her heart swell. She had always been the strongest, but now she was also part of a team that supported and uplifted each other. When they arrived at Jujutsu High, they found the training grounds empty, the perfect setting for their next adventure. All right, everyone, let's set up for our fashion show training, Gojo declared, her excitement palpable. Do we really need a runway? Megumi asked, raising an eyebrow. Absolutely, every fabulous sorceress needs a runway, Gojo replied, already gathering mats and equipment to create a makeshift stage. And we'll need some music too. As they set up, Yuji found an old portable speaker and connected his phone. How about this? He said, playing an upbeat song that filled the training grounds with energy. Perfect. Now, let's get into our training outfits, Gojo said, her eyes gleaming with mischief. We'll show off our skills and our style. They all changed into their training gear, which was a mix of stylish and functional. Gojo donned a sleek black outfit with vibrant accents, while Yuji wore a bright red training suit that matched his energetic personality. Megumi opted for a more understated look, but even he couldn't resist adding a few accessories to join in on the fun. All right, who's ready to strut their stuff? Gojo called out, striking a pose at the front of the makeshift runway. I guess I'll go first, Yuji said, stepping up with a grin. He walked down the runway with exaggerated confidence, throwing in some silly dance moves as he went. Look at me, the fabulous sorcerer in red, he shouted, causing everyone to burst into laughter. Not bad, but you need more flair, Gojo teased, clapping her hands. Next up, Megumi. Megumi stepped onto the runway, trying to maintain a serious expression. He walked with purpose, but as he reached the end, he couldn't help but smirk. This is ridiculous, he said, striking a pose that was surprisingly dramatic. But I guess I can make it work. Now that's what I'm talking about, Gojo cheered, clapping her hands. And now, for the grand finale, me. Gojo strutted down the runway with confidence, twirling and posing as she went. Fabulous, strong, and ready to take on any curse, she declared, striking a final pose at the end of the runway. Bravo, bravo, Yuji shouted, clapping enthusiastically. You're a natural. All right, now that we've had our fun, let's combine our training with our fabulousness, Gojo said, her eyes sparkling with excitement. We'll do a series of drills, but every time we land a hit, we strike a pose. Sounds like a plan, Megumi said, a hint of a smile on his face. They set up a series of training dummies and began their drills. Gojo led the charge, demonstrating a series of powerful moves while striking poses after each hit. Remember, confidence is key, she shouted, her energy infectious. As they trained, the atmosphere was filled with laughter and playful banter. They took turns attacking the dummies, each time landing a hit and striking a pose. Gojo felt a surge of pride as she watched her friends embrace the silliness and enjoy themselves. "Alright, let's kick it up a notch," Gojo said, her eyes gleaming with mischief. "This time, we'll add some real curses into the mix." "Real curses?" Yuji asked, his excitement palpable. "Are we ready for that?" "Of course. We've trained hard, and we're fabulous. Let's show them what we can do," Gojo replied, her confidence unwavering. As they prepared for the next challenge, Gojo felt a rush of adrenaline. She knew they were ready to face whatever came their way. "Let's go find some curses," she declared, leading the way out of the training grounds. They ventured into the nearby forest, where the energy felt thick with the presence of curses. Gojo could feel her heart racing as they approached a clearing. "Stay alert, everyone. We're about to show these curses what we're made of," she said, her voice steady and confident. Suddenly, a group of small curses emerged from the shadows, their grotesque forms hissing and snarling. "Looks like we've found them," Gojo shouted, her excitement bubbling over. "Let's do this." With a fierce battle cry, Gojo activated her limitless technique, creating a barrier to protect her friends. "I've got it contained. Now, let's attack," she called out. Yuji charged forward, launching a powerful punch at the nearest curse. "Take that," he shouted, landing a solid hit. Megumi summoned his Shikigami, sending them to distract the curses while he focused on delivering precise strikes. "Nui, go," he commanded, and the wolf-like creature lunged at the curses, biting and clawing at them. "Cursed energy blast," Shoko shouted, unleashing a wave of energy that struck the curses head-on. Gojo felt the energy of her friends fueling her determination. "All right, let's finish this," she shouted, channeling her energy into a powerful attack. Limitless, hollow technique. A wave of energy surged from her hands, striking the curses with incredible force. The combined attacks overwhelmed the curses, and with one final roar, they disintegrated into clouds of dark smoke. "Did we do it?" Yuji asked, panting and looking around. "Yeah, we did," Gojo exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "That was incredible." As they caught their breath, Gojo felt a sense of pride wash over her. They had faced challenges, fought curses, and embraced their identities, all while having fun together. "Here's to more adventures, more battles, and more fabulousness," Gojo declared, raising her fist. As they celebrated their victory, the atmosphere was electric with excitement. Gojo felt a sense of fulfillment wash over her. They had not only embraced their identities but had also grown closer as a team. "All right, team, let's head back and celebrate our victory properly," Gojo said, her eyes gleaming with enthusiasm. "I think we've earned a feast." Just as they turned to leave, a chilling wind swept through the clearing, causing the hairs on the back of Gojo's neck to stand on end. "Wait," she said, her voice suddenly serious. "Something doesn't feel right." The air grew thick with tension, and the shadows around them seemed to deepen. "What is it?" Megumi asked, his expression shifting to one of concern. Before Gojo could respond, a low growl echoed through the trees, sending a shiver down their spines. "That doesn't sound like a regular curse," Shoko said, her eyes narrowing as she scanned the area. Suddenly, a massive figure emerged from the shadows, towering over them. It was a curse unlike any they had faced before. Its body was twisted and grotesque, with multiple eyes and jagged teeth that glinted in the fading light. "Foolish sorcerers," it hissed, its voice dripping with malice. "You think you can defeat me so easily?" Gojo's heart raced as she took a step forward, her confidence unwavering. "We've taken down plenty of curses before, and we'll take you down too," she declared, activating her limitless technique. But the curse merely laughed, a chilling sound that echoed through the clearing. "You think your little tricks can stop me? I am the embodiment of fear itself," it roared, lunging forward with terrifying speed. "Everyone, get ready," Gojo shouted, her heart pounding in her chest. "We need to work together." As the curse charged at them, Yuji and Megumi sprang into action, launching their attacks. Diverging fist, Yuji shouted, throwing a powerful punch, but the curse dodged effortlessly, its movements fluid and predatory. Shikigami, attack, Megumi commanded, sending his wolf-like creature to distract the curse. But the creature was swatted away like a fly, crashing into a nearby tree. Stay focused, Shoko yelled, unleashing a blast of cursed energy, but the curse absorbed the attack, its eyes glowing with dark power. This isn't good. Gojo felt a surge of fear mixed with determination. We can't back down. We have to fight, she shouted, channeling her energy into a powerful attack. Limitless, hollow technique. The wave of energy surged toward the curse, but it merely laughed, raising a hand to deflect the attack as if it were nothing. Is that all you've got? It taunted, its voice echoing ominously. Everyone, regroup, Gojo shouted, her heart racing. We need a new plan. As they huddled together, the curse loomed over them, its presence suffocating. You think you can escape your fate? It hissed, its multiple eyes narrowing. I will consume you all. Gojo's mind raced as she tried to think of a way to turn the tide. We need to find its weakness, she said, her voice steady despite the fear creeping in. There has to be something we can do. Just then, a flicker of movement caught her eye. In the shadows, she saw a glimmer, a small, glowing object that seemed to pulse with energy. There, she pointed. That might be its weakness. Are you sure? Megumi asked, his expression tense. It's worth a shot, Gojo replied, determination flooding her veins. We have to try. With a fierce battle cry, they charged at the curse, dodging its attacks as they made their way toward the glowing object. But the curse was relentless, swiping at them with its massive claws. Keep moving, Yuji shouted, narrowly avoiding a strike. We can't let it stop us. As they reached the glowing object, Gojo felt a surge of energy. This is it. We can do this, she shouted, channeling her energy into one final attack. Together. But just as they were about to unleash their combined power, the curse let out a deafening roar, shaking the ground beneath them. You think you can defeat me? I will not be so easily vanquished. It bellowed, its eyes glowing with dark energy. Gojo's heart raced as she realized they were running out of time. Now, strike, she commanded, her voice filled with urgency. As they unleashed their attack, the curse lunged forward, its claws aimed directly at them. The world seemed to slow as they fought against the overwhelming darkness, their hearts pounding in unison. And then, just as the energy collided with the curse, a blinding light erupted from the glowing object, illuminating the clearing. The curse let out a final, anguished roar, and everything went dark. When the light faded, Gojo found herself standing alone in the clearing, her friends nowhere in sight. Panic surged through her as she called out, "Guys! Where are you?" But there was no response. The silence was deafening, and the shadows around her seemed to close in. No, this can't be happening, she whispered, her heart racing. Just then, a chilling voice echoed through the darkness. You thought you could defeat me. This is only the beginning. Gojo's breath caught in her throat as she realized the curse was still alive, lurking in the shadows, waiting for its moment to strike. And with that, the story ended in suspense, leaving Gojo standing alone in the darkness, her heart pounding with uncertainty. That's it for today. Hope you liked this fanfiction. This is part 1 of it. I will upload part 2 once we hit 30 likes. Thanks for reading, and have a great day.